guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be planting 4 different types of perennials, 3 sun lovers and 1 that's kind of it can do sun or shade, but it thrives better in shade. So I have talked about 3 of these in previous projects throughout the years. We've got Serendipity Allium right here, which these are looking nice. These actually wintered over in our greenhouse. And so they're a little bit behind in the bloom stage than mine out in the landscape. So we get to enjoy these a little bit longer than the ones that are already almost bloomed out. So we've got several of these. We've got some Cat's Pajamas Nepeta tucked in here. And this is a favorite of mine. I know it's a favorite of a lot of you guys as well because it's so low maintenance and it offers so much color. And then we've got Cherry Truffles Heuchera right here, which are amazing plants. And these are huge, like huge. Look at this, that's one plant right there. So this is like full grown already, which is awesome. These are gonna be going in this area right here, which I'll kind of give you a little mini tour here in a second, but this perennial right here, brand new for next year. Maybe you shouldn't get close on it though. I had this tucked in the greenhouse, kind of underneath some tables, which is the wrong place to keep sedum. It just kind of fell between the cracks. Anyway, so let's put a picture up on the screen perhaps of what we can expect it to look like once it gets the conditions it wants, which is full sun. And that's what it's gonna get out on the new property. The cool thing about this one, it's coral jade sedum. Did I already say that? Coral colored blooms, my favorite color out in the garden. The buds are chartreuse, they open coral. I think, does it grow 16 to 18 inches tall, 28 to 30 inches wide, I believe, zone 3 through 9, super tough perennial. But I'm most excited about, maybe get close on this. Look at this. Look at how beautiful these blooms are. Like if you really look close at these blooms, they look like individual flowers, so like little creamy ivory petals with that coral colored center. Gosh, it's so pretty. And the leaves are kind of a sagey green, which I always love. It's kind of like plain the blue salvia, how it has that kind of sagey velvety look to it. So anyway, Cherry Truffles is going right in here. You might remember we replaced all the Limetta hydrangeas with these little lime punch hydrangeas, and they're doing awesome. So their blooms come out that chartreuse, well, kind of white and then into chartreuse, and then they're starting to color up now that we've got some cooler evenings, but they're all just looking beautiful, and they span the whole distance of this bed all the way to about the lilac down there. So right in front of those we have this drift of seducer hostas, which are looking a little bit sad. Maybe the wrong placement for these, not in terms of light, but in terms of wind. We get so much wind, you guys know this, and they really don't have any block right here. And for big bold leaves like that, that kind of is not a really good combination. I'm hoping once the hydrangeas grow up, they'll provide the wind block these need. Anyway, I thought it would be pretty to kind of put those cherry truffles around these hostas right here. I think it'll add some really beautiful color in this area, low maintenance. They grow about 8 to 10 inches tall, so I think they'll be a really good like understory layer to these hostas right here. And the cool thing too about the Heuchera is that one can thrive in sun. It does best in shade, like a part shade situation, but it can handle a little more sun. And this bed is kind of interesting because we have this huge juniper tree right above me, huge, which really shades this area like directly under it, but right up here gets quite a bit of afternoon sun, and then about right here it gets afternoon sun. You can see the sun starting to creep in, but by the late afternoon it'll be in full blazing sun. So if I end up putting the drift kind of out in those sunny areas, it's a versatile plant that way. So I think we should just set these out and get them in the ground, and then we'll move to the new property and plant the rest. hopefully you guys can see this okay. I know it's awful bright in the background and the plant is a little bit dark and it's shady here, but if you've ever wanted to know what a drift of 18 Heuchera looks like, here you go. And if you don't like it, I just saved you a bunch of money. I love it though. I think it's so pretty. I think it's what this space needed, and I actually like it. And Erin was commenting on how, like, when the light streams through and touches certain parts of the plant, they kind of look like they have a little bit of a sparkle to them. They're just so beautiful, and I think they're going to be perfect here just because they're so versatile in the light department, being able to withstand more sun and then also love the shade. There's not a tremendous amount of plants that can do that, but these Heucheras can. Color Blaze coleus would be another really great option for this area, but I wanted to put something in here that was perennial. So they grow upwards of 30 inches wide. So I mean, a lot of these are pretty wide already. I mean, I would say that they're like 2 feet wide maybe. So I'm expecting them to grow together a little bit more. And really, like the Seducer hostas, I can't remember how big these get, but I know that they want to be a fairly big size hosta. But I just don't feel like our hostas are ever going to get to their full size potential here in Eastern Oregon, where it's just so hot and dry with lots of wind because we're constantly having to pull leaves off of hostas. So I think underplanting them is a really good option. We still have our hostas, and it can still look full. Anyway, I think it's just a really beautiful area. All right, so in this spot, we already had a proudberry coralberry planted, as well as a supreme cantaloupe echinacea and a desert plains pennisetum. So we added a drift of serendipity alliums. So these are zone 4 through 8. Beautiful, beautiful color, especially up against the supreme cantaloupe echinacea. I'm super excited about that, and a great textural difference as well. So the leaves have a little bit more of a bluish tinge to them, and they grow about 20 inches tall, 15 inches wide. These grow about 30 inches tall, so we'll have a beautiful stair-step layer right here, and all of these things will provide interest a good portion of the season, because our echinacea will probably start blooming first, maybe right around the same time as the alliums, and then our sedums will pick up and do late summer, and all of them will go through the end of the season. Over here, we kind of already talked about the size of this, so again, upwards of 30 inches wide, 18 inches tall, so again, a nice step down layer. A little bit more on the pink side, but it does kind of have, since it's that coral color, it has the little bit of an apricot hint to it. So I think it looks really pretty with this. And the wonderful thing about all of these plants right here is they're all drought tolerant once they're established. They all attract pollinators. They're just really tough plants, and they're ones we don't have to mess with during the season. Like, you can deadhead the alliums after they're done blooming if you want to, but the spent blooms do look interesting, so you can leave them. Same goes for the echinacea, and then of course the sedum are just kind of, they look amazing from the moment they break dormancy with their little rosette growth, and then they just look great all the way until the next spring. That's usually when I cut sedum back. So anyway, Nepeta went on the other side. Let's head over there. And then the cat's pajamas Nepeta ended up out here next to the Granada Gold echinaceas, which again, we've got that kind of orange with the bluish purple contrast is just always so beautiful. Now the cool thing about the cat's pajamas is that it is a smaller growing Nepeta. You know, the traditional type gets a lot bigger, so this is really good for small spaces, as well as like big drifts out here in a larger area. They grow about 14 inches tall, 20 inches wide. Zone we might have to put that one on the screen. I can't really remember. Is it a 3 through 8 or 4 through 8? Something like that. They're really tough. This is the first perennial we've put out here that does need or does want to be sheared back about midsummer in order to encourage a rebloom. Now you can leave them alone and they will shoot up new bloom stalks, but I do feel like the plant looks better if you can shear it back and let it bloom a second time. I'm going to try to be very light on those types of plants out here, but Nepeta is just so good for our area, and it just thrives in our heat, and it just brings in the pollinators that I will probably be adding some plants like this, even if they do require a little bit of midsummer maintenance. So anyway, I'm super happy with today's perennial planting. That's just a few more plants out here that make it look a little bit more full and are kind of helping the vision come to life. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.